Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
To me, it's America. When did it stop being America? When did we stop being able to have our flag out?
Frustration for residents of a North Fargo senior living community who proudly put up an American flag on Memorial Day. Weeks later, they were asked by the property management company to take it down. So they reached out to our whistleblower hotline. Valley News Team's Alexandra Kay explains why the residents say they have a right to fly their flag.
It was a birthday gift from Mary Argel to her friend Mike Johnson, an American flag which they mounted on a pole and taped to an old water faucet in the front yard of their senior living community, Sunrise North.
That represents them and all the people who are serving overseas right now.
Argel said the self-made addition to the complex was a hit and loved by those in their community. It's fully equipped with a lighting system, and Argel even asked Sunrise North management if they would be able to provide a flagpole to properly mount it.
Everybody here that we've talked to likes it. They want it out there.
For weeks, the flag has been flying, until a note on Mike Johnson's door threatened to change that. The note from management came on Thursday and stated the flag must come down and that they have to follow policy.
Angry and that I believed our rights were being put under the thumb.
We reached out to Goldmark. When asked about a policy on American flags, they said they didn't have one. Goldmark president Charlie Pointer explained that the flag cannot be mounted on the water faucet, but added that they want to honor the flag appropriately by providing a pole for the flag to be mounted on. Until then, the group says they will continue to meet with their friends by their favorite flag. In Fargo, Alexandra Kay, Valley News Live.
The statement provided by Goldmark said in part that their objective would be to hang the flag in an appropriate manner in place and that they will work with the community on the appropriate next steps. If you need help with an issue in your community, here's some advice. Call our whistleblower hotline. The phone number is there on your screen, 701-237-6576. Do that and leave your tip. A member of our investigative team will get on the case and go to work to expose the truth. Valley News Live did some digging and found out what it cost the city of Fargo and Cass County to deal with the march and riot at the end of last month and the rally that followed a few days later. We asked leaders to provide the numbers through an open records request. Let's begin with the march and subsequent riot in downtown Fargo on May 30th. The price tag for Fargo was almost $214,000. A large chunk of that was in overtime for police. Cass County's cost is nearly $40,000, again, overtime and staffing making up the bulk of the bill. The following Friday, there was a rally at Island Park, not nearly as involved, but still wound up costing the city a little over $105,000. The city is still adding up what it'll cost to keep tabs on today's peaceful march. During the event, many who gathered expressed their displeasure with the mayor over issuing an emergency declaration. The march was meant to commemorate Juneteenth, a day slavery ended in 1865. It was organized by local groups Black Lives Matter and One Fargo. Organizers say fewer people attended because of Mayor Tim Mahoney's declaration. Yet there was still a good crowd holding signs and chanting for equality.
I face racism a lot, to be truthful. But I get over it. Because I'm bigger than that, I
decided to show up to show solidarity to the community because it's wrong to declare a state of emergency for a peaceful protest.
Mayor Mahoney signed a proclamation to recognize Juneteenth citywide. However, he was booed and heckled at today's event. Today's march took a crowd of supporters from Island Park to downtown Fargo, and the March for Justice continues tomorrow, with organizers taking extra safety steps. Valley News Team's Katie Opperly has a preview of what can be expected from tomorrow's march and how it's expected to be different from what we saw today.
We said if we did one march, what if people can miss it? And what if they have other celebrations and things that they're doing with their family today? Let's do another march. But let's not do it next week. Let's do it the next day. Because there are a lot of people who want to support and push that Black Lives Matter, that all people matter.
Black Lives Matter and members of the community will once again take to the streets of Fargo for a March for Justice beginning at 10 a.m. Saturday.
Today was freedom. Today was independence for us. I think tomorrow will be justice.
Black Lives Matter Fargo Moorhead delayed releasing their route, but say a highlight of this march will be a stop at the courthouse.
We worked with the Fargo Police Department, and we kind of want to keep that route safe because we had some visitors today at this march who may not like black people, and so we don't want those people to get there early. Let know of that march, if that's all right.
Marching to the courthouse will really give a different mindset to what we're doing, and hopefully the mayor, the police chief, and others in office can be transparent to the people of this community, not to just Black Lives Matter or One Fargo, but to the people in this community to know what really happened and what went on May 30th.
Organizers say Saturday is meant to be a peaceful protest, so their voices may be heard about what needs to change in our community and across the nation, listing their demands on the event page, including charges against protesters being dropped, among others.
Unity, transparency, those are things that our community think is very important. But globally, we have injustices happening on a daily basis. We have injustices happening all over the nation. Just in June alone, there were more than 5 black men and women killed.
Dixon and Edwards say the proximity to Juneteenth and marching to the courthouse pushes their message for transparency, justice, and change. In Fargo, Katie Opperly, Valley News Live.
And Valley News Live will be there as well to provide coverage of tomorrow's march. Murder charges have now been filed against 2 people for the death of their 5-year-old foster child. 42-year-old Eric Longi and 45-year-old Tammy Longi are also facing child abuse and neglect charges for the way they treated the girl, young Raven, and her 7-year-old brother. It happened on the Spirit Lake Reservation. Federal law enforcement showed up on May 6th when Tammy says she found Raven's body. An autopsy showed Raven suffered injuries consistent with assault. She had injuries on her head, neck, chest, and other extremities. The officer who sustained a gunshot wound during an incident this week on Monday has been identified. Officer Ryan Phoebe has been with the St. Cloud, Minnesota Police Department since 2006. He was released from St. Cloud Hospital on Monday and is on standard pay administrative leave. Phoebe discharged his taser during the incident. He was the only officer on the scene on the time of that incident. Samara Deshawn Bossy was charged on Wednesday with first-degree assault of a peace officer. Mr. Bossy was also taken to St. Cloud Hospital and is currently in the Stearns County Jail. A Crookston man is in jail tonight accused of wielding a knife toward officers after a child custody dispute. 24-year-old Benjamin Strom is being held on charges of assault and obstructing the legal process. Crookston police responded to a child custody dispute this morning and say Strom was upset that he wasn't allowed to see his daughter. He was escorted from the property, but police say he returned later with a knife. He refused to drop that knife, so officers used a less than lethal beanbag on Strom to take him into custody. Another person has died in North Dakota from COVID-19, bringing the death toll in the state now to 76. This newest death was a woman in her 90s from Cass County. She had underlying health conditions. The state is reporting 33 new cases of COVID-19, bringing the active cases to 310. Over 2,800 people are listed as recovered. Minnesota is reporting 17 new deaths from the virus. That brings the death toll in the state to 1,361. Of those deaths, 1,077 happen to be in a long-term care facility. 362 new cases are reported, bringing the active case count to 2,961. Over 27,000 people are listed as recovered. With summer vacations underway, the question some might ask is what happens when it's over and children go back to school? The ongoing concerns of COVID-19 has school districts in Minnesota eyeing several options right now. Bill Hudson explains they received a little bit of guidance.
In mid-March, coronavirus sent students home to distance learn. Now parents like Michelle Forsberg wonder if they're in for a repeat.
It would affect if I can go back to work when our office reopens in September.
Managing a job and her son's schooling is hard enough. Getting kids to socially distance, even harder.
Their ability to self-regulate, and it's one teacher and 26 or 30 kids, that's hard. And how do you keep them apart?
That's what education leaders are now wrestling with, saying the pandemic is still unpredictable, so plans for a fall return to school must be flexible.
we're asking our school leaders to create 3 different contingency plans based on 3 possible scenarios that the virus could put us in. In-person learning for all students, hybrid learning with social distancing, and distance learning.
Depending on their area's COVID cases, districts could blend in all 3 to help reduce populations of students and staff.
That a return needs to be done safely.
Education Minnesota President Denise Speck says the ideas of parents and teachers must be included.
Educators would like to be at the table when decisions are being made around what reopening should look like, whether it's the scenarios that are being discussed today or something else.
Smaller class sizes, split scheduling, and greater sanitation and testing will all be essential to a safe reopening.
I want him to go back, but I just don't know how they're going to manage it.
A return to schooling that remains unclear.
Final decisions are expected by July 27th, if not before.